Hi everybody, this is Emily again, and I'm glad that you came back to hear more about my travels to Ireland and Northern Ireland in 2014. So we'll get started with part 2. So this portion of the video will focus on the excursions that we did in the month of February. So after our pit stops to Dunluce Castle and Giant's Causeway, we finally made our way to Belfast, the capital of Northern Ireland, which is located in County Antrim and County Down. Here are some pictures of some of the streets in Belfast. Can you tell where their loyalties lie? And on Shankill Road, we encountered this beautiful mural, which I'll let you guys read. It's just very powerful. Belfast had a lot of peace walls, which separated the Catholics and the Protestants during the Troubles. Other cities had them too, like Derry and Londonderry. They play now a huge role in Belfast tourism as seen with these murals. These parts are of the most well-known peace wall, which is located on the Protestant Shankill Road and the Catholic Falls Road. As you can tell from the previous pictures, it was a crappy day. If I'm going to be honest, I found most of the time in Belfast to be very depressing, like this abandoned street. There was a lot of rain, which may have contributed to that. These memorials were also on Shankill Road. Note how less subtle they are and how they have more rhetoric when referring to the Troubles than the ones seen in Derry, Londonderry. One bright spot during this excursion was visiting Stormont, aka the Northern Ireland Assembly, a devolved legislature of Northern Ireland. The Assembly was one of the two institutions created under the 1998 Good Friday Agreement. The upper left photo is of the building itself from a distance. The upper right photo is of the screen which listed the tours, including ours. The bottom pictures are of the main area in Stormont with one of my professors, Gina, sitting at the head of the table. I am thankful that we got to visit Stormont before it collapsed in January 2017 due to policy disagreements and was in suspension until January of this year. Also, our tour guide was quick to note that the United Kingdom does not really know what to do with Northern Ireland and how the former mainly treats the latter like an appendix. I can see why there are talks right now about reunification. Enough about the politics, let's look at the building itself. These are pictures of Stormont's Great Hall. And it's grand like any older building, but I found it really fascinating with its use of colors, as well as how symmetrical and geometrical it is. And fun fact, according to the Northern Ireland Assembly website, the quote-unquote blue, red, and gold painted ceiling of the Great Hall remains untouched since it was first painted in 1932, thanks to a secret waxing process formulated by Heaton, Tab & Co. of London. Afterwards, we went to the Belfast City Hall, which is known for its grand exterior and interior. It was completed in 1906, hence the reason why part of its stained glass depicts King Edward VII and Queen Alexandra. And here is part of the main area of City Hall. It included a lot of artifacts like the chairs that King George V and Queen Mary apparently sat in for the opening of the Northern Ireland Parliament in 1921, hence the top photos. And the bottom photos are of the chairs that politicians would sit in when discussing matters relating to Belfast, and of my groupmate Nate sitting in the head chair, thinking like if he was king. And here are some other parts of City Hall, including Belfast coat of arms in the lower right picture. On the left is a model of the Titanic inside City Hall, since it was built in Belfast. On the right is the Titanic Memorial, which is located outside of City Hall. I only took the one on the left. And this is Rise, the sculpture located in Belfast that was built in 2011 to represent the sun rising on a new chapter in Belfast's history. I say it's very fitting. Now, as we headed back to Tillycross, we stopped in the city of Omagh, located in County Tyrone. We visited Omagh to see the Omagh Bombing Memorial. The bombing in 1998 killed 31 people of all ages, both Catholics and Protestants, making it the deadliest incident of the Troubles. and it didn't help that it took place 4 months after the Good Friday Agreement was signed. The memorial itself is very simplistic, and it doesn't try to blame anybody. The 31 poles represent each of the victims that were killed in the bombing. After the Northern Ireland excursion, we spent about 3 weeks back in Tully Cross, where we would continue to explore the local area. While we were in Tully Beach, we came across a cool tree stump and some cool looking rocks. Then one day, we took a day trip to Clonmanoy, not Clonmanoys, but Clonmanoy. I apologize for that. Clonmanoy is located in County Offaly. Clonmanoys is a monastery built in 544 AD by St. Kieran. The site includes the ruins of a cathedral, 7 churches, 2 round towers, 3 high crosses, and the largest collection of early Christian grave slabs in Western Europe. And this is all from the Heritage Ireland website. These pictures were taken in the Interpretive Center, which talked about the monastery's history, the area, and the artifacts, including the original Cross of the Scriptures on the left. Here is the grounds of Clonmanoy, which included more gravestones. Whoopee! But it was a really great area to explore in. You can easily play hide and seek. And here are some more pictures of the grave slabs, as well as one of the round towers. Near the end of February, we went on our second major excursion to Dublin, but first we made a pit stop at the Newgrange Museum in County Meath. Newgrange is a grand passage tomb built in the Neolithic period, which makes it older than Stonehenge and the Egyptian pyramids. The top 2 photos are the ones I took inside the museum, and the bottom ones were at the site itself, which consisted of a large circular mound with an inner stone passageway and chambers. We even got to go into the mound itself, which, I kid you not, had 19th century graffiti on it. Now, it's not certain what the mound was used for, but the fact that the entrance aligns with the rising sun on winter solstice indicates some religious purpose. And here are some more photos of the tomb itself, including the entrance stone in the upper right-hand corner. Then we arrived in Dublin in County, you know where it's at, where we stayed at a hostel that contained one of the most Irish things outside of a shamrock and Guinness. Thin Lizzy, of course. This was at the hostel we stayed at for a few days. Here we are in the heart of Dublin on O'Connell Street. The upper left photo is of the General Post Office, which served as the headquarters for the uprising leaders of the Easter Rising of 1916. The upper right photo is of the O'Connell Monument, which is dedicated to the 19th century nationalist leader Daniel O'Connell. It stands at the entrance to his namesake street. The bottom left photo is of Meg and Anna, 2 girls in my group, standing next to the statue of James Joyce, because why not? And the bottom right photo is of the Halfpenny Bridge over the River Liffey. And here we are in the Temple Bar, the culture quarter of Dublin, and of course there's going to be a pub called the Temple Bar. Here is St. Patrick's Cathedral. You know who it's named after. The structure dates from 1220 to 1259, and it was constructed on the site of an ancient well that St. Patrick supposedly used. And despite its intimidating nature, it's actually a very calming building, as a cathedral should be. Then we visited Trinity College, where we explored its campus and its famous library. The library is what you expect of old libraries, tall shelves and ladders, but it also had artifacts on display like the Book of Kells. In its gift shop, I came across a book called Where's Larry? We found a relative of his right next to the Molly Malone statue on the most famous street in Dublin, Grafton Street, right before its move to Suffolk Street. Then, with some girls in my group, we visited Dublin Castle, a major government complex, conference center, and tourist destination. Fun fact, the city is named from the Irish meaning black pool, referring to a dark tidal pool where the River Poddle entered the Liffey on the site of the castle gardens at the rear of Dublin Castle, built by Vikings and later expanded by Normans. The current Dublin Castle is not the same one that the Vikings built. And this is what the castle gardens look like today. After Dublin Castle, we visited St. Stephen's Green, Dublin's public park. It is adjacent to Grafton Street, and it was a beautiful day in February that of course we had to take a stroll through it. There was a lot of ducks and a lot of greens that it was all worth it in the end. On our final night in the hostel, we saw a play at the Abbey Theatre, the National Theatre of Ireland, which was founded by W.B. Yeats and Lady Gregory in 1904. Civ by John B. Keane was the play that we saw, and it's a very popular piece to perform in Ireland. In fact, how Irish theatre goers see Civ is the equivalent of how American theatre goers view Death of a Salesman as a revered piece. And this is me at the night of the play. And that is the end of part 2. Stay tuned for part 3, where I discuss more of my Dublin travels, as well as Cork, Cove, Killarney, Limerick, Galway, and Clifton. See you next time. Bye!